So, a couple weeks back I had a fun idea for a stream. Download a bunch of free-to-play games from the Switch eShop and try them out. The idea was we could all have a laugh at some bad games, maybe be surprised by one or two of them, silly fun. And you know what? It was fun. There's some weird shit out there to find. But one game stuck out from the rest of them. One game just kept calling back to me and had me totally baffled. Island Saver. Island Saver is a completely free first-person 3D action game. The goal of the game is to pick up trash and clean up island flora and fauna, restoring the island to its former pristine natural state. Along the way, you'll get to search for hidden secrets, ride animals, and splat gooey monsters. Clean up an area and move on to the next one. Job done. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Now, what if I told you this was an educational game? What would you think the focus of the educational content would be? Biology? Maybe environmentalism? Nope. The main premise is actually finance. You see, the publisher for Island Saver isn't a normal game publisher. It's National Westminster, also known as NatWest, also known as a bank. That's right, NatWest is a bank based in the UK. And they're the ones who bankrolled this game. It even says right in the title, Island Saver by NatWest. And they've really put some funds into getting this out. This game seems to be everywhere, from Switch to PS4 to Xbox, even Steam. I do have to admit, Island Saver does seem to do a decent job laying out the basics of money. As you collect trash, you can dispense it into trash collectors, which will reward you with coins. Rescuing plants and animals, Bankimals, will also reward you with coins, all of which you can deposit into the bank. 1 out of 10 coins you earn will be collected by a tax collector, and as tax is collected, you earn tax tokens, which can then be used to build bridges, empty garbage, and build new structures. Later on, you can earn foreign currency, which you can then exchange for more of your own. They even have an exchange rate, and you can earn a lot more coins by trading in your yen, dollars, or rubles at the right time. Then there's the scammers. Early in the second region, I needed something I didn't have the money for and was told I need to apply for a loan. While I was waiting for approval, I was approached by a loan shark who offered to loan me the money at no interest. This, of course, proved to be a scam. While the execution of this whole scenario was pretty ham-fisted, I appreciate the sentiment. There is at least one other similar scenario later, and there may be more I never got to. Overall, the first few times I played this game, I was actually having a bit of fun. I found myself wanting to go back to it from time to time to see what it would have in store for me next. There is a certain amount of charm in Island Saver. The world is bright and colorful. Each area you unlock has a different mix of colorful plants and animals. The animals themselves have cute, bouncy animations that look lively. The game allows you to buy items to change their colors and even lets you put hats on them. The controls seem to work pretty well too, with far less jank than I had anticipated from a game like this. However, that fun didn't last forever. The contents of this review may lead you to assume this game lacks any challenge. This assumption would be false. There's tons of challenge to be had in Island Saver. This game challenges your patience constantly. Right off the bat, the loading times are far longer than any game like this has any right to be. Loading the game from the Switch menu to the level select screen took over a minute, and once you select a level, it takes another full minute to load. That is a long wait time for such a simple game, and once you're playing, things don't get easier. Here's a quick example. Once I arrived at this desert area, all the different kiosks I needed to complete the area were here. I got through this area pretty quickly. As I progressed to the next area, oops, looks like there's no exchange machine or tax machine here. Looks like I'll need to make a few trips back when I fill up on foreign coins, or run out of tax credits. Oh, and look, I need to barter for some of the seeds I need. Back to the last area to get the required items. Now, once I sit around and wait for these animals to finally finish eating so I can suck up their coins and run back to the exchange machine and cash them in so I can take those coins and run back to the bank and make a deposit, and then I'm finally ready to move on to the next area. But of course I find out that the power thing needs a full stack of tokens. So now I need to run back to the tax machine and take a stack of tax tokens so I can build my bridge, and now, finally, I can reach the next area. Nope. you, here's some platforming. And if you thought the big platforming section would be a nice divider and that I'd have everything I needed in the next area again, nope. You get to backtrack over this section multiple times. So this is where my Epic Gamer patience skills finally ran out. There just got to be too much waiting and backtracking, and it proved to be too much for me to handle. I turned the game off, and I haven't been back since. So at the end of the day, we have a big ol' advertisement in the form of a first-person platformer designed to teach kids around money, and the whole premise is saving the environment by picking up trash. It's an interesting choice. And here's where I get to talk about what kind of drove me to make this review in the first place. There's a weird dichotomy here that I just keep getting hung up on. It almost feels like this should be a subject of a different video, but I'll do my best to explain it here. The concept of draping this game in an environmental message just bugs me. There's just something that feels slimy to me about a bank giving a lesson about environmentalism and saving the planet by putting trash in a bin. If we accept, and hopefully most of us do, that climate change is a looming threat, and that a large portion of environmental destruction is driven by large corporations, a message that we should save the planet coming from an institution that profits by working against that very message feels a bit hollow. I couldn't help but notice that with trash cleanup and recycling so heavily looped into the gameplay, I wasn't able to find a single mention of reducing consumption, not even so much as lip service to the idea. Now, I know it's not quite as bad as, say, an oil company making an ocean cleanup game, but at the same time, you can be pretty sure that NatWest profits off of companies that perpetuate these behaviors. To be clear, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong about making a game as an advertisement. Hell, remember Chex Quest? Lots of people have fond memories of that game. It's just that the particular theme of Island Savers stuck out to me so strongly in an odd way that I didn't see a way around bringing it up. It just seems like an odd choice to make for me, and it's something I wanted to talk about. Anyway, there's my thoughts. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. I plan to have a new video out every week. I also stream a variety of video game related content on twitch.tv/ElRiraShow, so come by and say hello. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.